We're live. We're live? All right, good evening. This is meeting of the Council Rock School District Facilities meeting. My name is Mike Thorward. I'm the chair. Let's go around the room real quick and announce everybody, and we'll go from there.
Doug Taylor, Director of Operations.
Jerry Rupp, School Board.
Ed Tate, School Board.
Robert Berger, Superintendent.
Matt Frederickson, IT Director.
Marion McKee, School Board.
And that's it. Oh, I'm sorry, and we have Kristen on the line.
Marcel.
Kristen Marcel, I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind. Kristen Marcel's on the line, another school director. Sorry, Kristen. Isn't that?
Thank you so much, Kristen. Thank you.
All right.
All right. So we started here again. I think the Eagles are on tonight as well. I'll try to move the agenda. You notice in my agenda, I had about 45 minutes allocated for this. We added one item for Holland Middle School with the HVAC.
Yeah, that was at my request, I apologize.
So I have a couple items on your typical agenda. Energy management. We do not have an update. The Energy Star portfolio manager is changing the metrics, and Aramark is working on implementing those changes on our account. So I'll have that at the next facilities meeting, which may be 2 meetings from now, because I usually dedicate the October meeting to capital improvement projects only for that night. So I will provide an update on that soon.
So hold on, let the record show, Mr. Joe Fidalgo just joined us too. Sorry.
That's okay.
You good, Fred?
So what I've done is just recorded the June unit of measures, and then as we learn the changes, we'll post it from the other side, and we'll move forward from there once that happens. Security update.
Go back. They're gonna change, we are going to work, right? So how do you figure year over year? Are they gonna go back and restate?
I don't know.
Who's changing the measures?
I don't. I was just told by Aramark that the portfolio, the metrics are changing. I'm not sure what's changing.
They do the metrics for us.
Right.
So unless we authorize the change, so we do year over year, we expect the metrics to be the same, so we do year over year. So while I respect that, what they have to, we don't have any, we have no reporting obligations at all on this stuff.
No.
So they can't change the metrics without us agreeing. Yeah, and
Well, unless there were building size changes they had to implement, or
those are changes. Those are, okay.
they said metric changes.
Okay.
So I have to see what they are.
That's fine.
That's why it's not here today. I don't know.
But you understand my, if they're changing, we're gonna change from Pascal to some other.
I understand. I don't, again, until I.
No, to the point, if they're changing the square footage or something, and maybe it's because of those 2 new buildings. Okay.
So let me see what it is, and then I'll report it back.
Yeah.
Security update, we're working on the implementation of the ALEC program today. I worked with Bill Rick to get the list of final 50 that are being trained. He sent those out to ALEC today, and then we'll be getting our notifications for our online training, which we have to take before we're training. So that's something that is in the works. We're waiting for responses to the grant applications that we sent out. As far as I know, still.
That's right.
Equipment programs and school resource officers. Police security review of all school facilities and report on findings is in the works. Bill Rick has been meeting with the police representatives and is putting together a summary of all of those things, requirements. And then something else, as I present the capital improvement projects or any projects that would affect security that we'll talk about in October.
Doug, before you move completely off of the school safety piece, just to remind the board that there's also a $60 million grant out there that's separate from these 3 costs. And we still haven't seen any kind of application details on that. So
That's 60 million available statewide.
yes, statewide.
Okay. Not for us.
I think
This is the one that they,
25,000.
well, yeah, this is the one where they said, I put in the board update that any meritorious application would be, more or less guaranteed to receive 25 grand, if not more. So.
Meetings of subcommittees, legislative changes, Act 39 and 44 of 2018, action items, school safety and security coordinator was discussed last facilities meeting, and at the last board meeting, Bill Rick was named be that person. Safe to Safe program, contacts have been established. Robert responded to that by the timeline. Other things that are ongoing, must establish, this is the Safety Committee Authority, must establish criteria for school safety assessment by the 30th of September. So
Do we expect that to actually happen?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's really no way to know.
I'm not sure, but I'll just kind of bring you back each month where we are with these timelines, and I'll update you as I learn them, or relearn them. By October 31st, establish criteria for registration of qualified individuals to conduct the assessment. Hello, Mark. Really, school entities must complete the survey by the 30th of November. That is something that we will shortly meet and take care of, and provide them with the report that we're preparing now, along with that information. By the 31st of January of 2019, the committee must complete a review of all of those surveys that they're going to be receiving back. And again, another question of can they meet that timeline for a lot of work. And as Robert mentioned, directed approval, disbursement and administration of $60 million in security grants, of which we'll certainly submit and try to get something from. And it was 22 eligible uses of the funds. It was very broad. Money distributed by the 31st of October 2019. We are still not sure of all the details. We're waiting for more information. The vulnerability assessment is something we're working on. That's the secure grant again, and we appointed Bill Rick, as we discussed earlier. And that's where we are.
We're moving. There's an important thing too, which happens, which is not there. We'll take a moment. Robert, you said that we had police officers at every school.
That's right.
So let's talk about that for a minute. That's part of the interface talks about what our interface is with the police department.
Yep.
And there was some concern initially that people might think, oh my God, these are the schools for today. Well received.
Very well received. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fantastic. We had one officer at some schools. We had as many as 4 or 5 at other schools.
You have 4 or 5 that counts around yours right now.
Yeah, right. We're back to school.
Right now, I said I know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was great. They were helping, great kids as they came in, and just a really nice, solid presence.
They were handing out. What I saw on social media was that Northampton Police was taking pictures, saying, look, this bus stop looks good, hopefully it stays that way, people know, and they really took to whatever concerns they were getting regarding school bus stop safety and traffic control. They really took an active presence to let people know, hey, we're here, and I think they'll continue to do that. It's great.
So the reason I brought it up, I have often been critical that we have to pay for school resource officers because the students who are in these schools are citizens of our town. So we're paying for school resource officer may irk me, but I want to be very clear that it's not that I don't like the school resource officer, which is underdefined, but I am appreciative at the same time that our police departments have taken it upon themselves, because it's really on their dime, they're doing it. There's extra presence, there's extra attendance, there's extra cooperation. Certainly it reflects the nature of the recognition on their part that these are the citizens of the town and that they're going the extra mile. And so I just wanted to have an opportunity to say here, maybe we'll do it at a board meeting. I think that it makes a great show for, showing of support and cooperation between the two entities, school district and the 5 entities, all the police officers, police department.
I sent Dr. Fraser a note that I got from a Salt Pine home parent who happy to see the police, and they were handing out pencils and so forth. Was this the initiative of the municipal police departments, or how did this come about?
It actually came about from one of our chiefs, Chief Clark, came to us with this idea for Northampton Township, and we said, hey, this is fantastic, this sounds great. So through Bill Ricker, we did some outreach to the other 3 police departments, or other 2, I guess, that serve schools. And everyone was more than happy.
So it also shows a level of cooperation between the police departments. So
and Bill,
it's and Bill's contribution. But I appreciate it. I want to take a moment just as security is one aspect, but knowing who's in the building and knowing who to go to is an important aspect, of being familiar and comfortable around people is important. So thanks, and
No doubt.
our appreciation to the chiefs. letter that was for that.
All right, Doug.
So we had a very good, successful summer, and it came as a result of a lot of teamwork, for sure. And what we accomplished this summer was pretty big, and we completed the new Newtown Middle School, including the parking lot and internal drives, which those pieces weren't scheduled for several months from the start of school. So it was nice to see Blair, their site contractor, work as hard as they did to demolish a piece of the building and get that parking lot and internal drive, so we don't have to kind of retrain parents in terms of how this drop-off works. So now from day one, everybody has an understanding of how that site will work for the life of the building. Completed the final phase of Holland Middle School renovations, the gym, the cafeteria, the library. Family and consumer science was in there, the cooking, sewing side, there was art, digital arts. There were a lot of other little spaces that were part of that phase that we'll touch on shortly. We moved 4 schools, bringing their entirety, essentially, prepared new teaching spaces in the new location, and the teams transitioned it, honestly, nearly seamlessly. You know, everything was by color code moved where it needed to be moved. We had very little deliveries to the wrong locations. Math team with technology has been fantastic. Everybody has worked well together to make this happen. It couldn't have happened if we hadn't. We closed Wrightstown Elementary School and we moved them to their new home. I have a couple shots of that later. We hit the ground running with those renovations, and I'll show you some shots of the foundations and progress there. And while moving forward with the Rolling Hills Elementary School design approval process, which we've been in front of the township over the summer, and we continue to work toward that approval process. And we completed the majority, I'd like to say all, of the capital improvement projects, but there have been some material delivery challenges on that. But that being said, any of the materials that really affected education have essentially been delivered, and we're working on getting that wrapped up. I can think primarily the rubber floors in the fitness rooms of the 2 high schools was delivered, and they installed it over the Labor Day weekend. And tomorrow, the new equipment that's being delivered for both schools and the existing equipment is being moved back into those spaces. So they'll all be ready for the start of the next week in both buildings. And we'll get the Mayflower storage trailer out of North, which is holding a lot of that equipment. That's why the trailer's sitting. So again, and I'll say it, you know, the appreciation is true to the board for helping with the Wrightstown and believing and making that happen. And to the fellow cabinet team members have all been instrumental in everything that's happened. The principals have been great. Sarah, Mark, all the staff, packing the boxes, unpacking boxes. It's just been transportation and working with the Wrightstown Challenge and, you know, my maintenance of ground. So it's been a team effort for sure.
This would be a great outreach to the community. You know, if you gave that to Susan and had her send it out as part of a newsletter on Facebook or social media. Important, you know, maybe have some more information about capital improvement projects. But that's a great success story right there.
That's a great
Everybody
monthly.
thinks that
Yeah.
we shut down for the summer.
We actually get busy in the summer.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's great. Because there's a lot of construction, people think dollars, and it's important for them.
I'll do that. I'll work. So on Newtown Middle School, essentially, we started this back in April of 16. We are complete with the school for the kids on time, and we are working on the demolition of the building and site work ahead of schedule. I'll show you a couple shots of what that looks like. The architect and contractor is working on any punch list items, obviously when kids aren't in the building after hours, holidays, weekends. This is the parking lot that once held the portion of Newtown Middle. So this is where parents come in, drop off, and leave. There's an internal drive to get to parking. And again, an incredible.
That was a feat.
That was
An impressive feat.
Yeah.
And I had a little doubt on it. But they proved me wrong. Larry was really impressive.
Really, that was the part it speaks to. It's not like you as a driving force, Julie as a driving force, but also the the internalization by the contractors of the value of what they're doing. You know, the player sees the value of it, and internalizes it. It doesn't change their dollars. It doesn't make their dollars go up or down, but they have to do it on a schedule and serve everything.
So this is, you know, this was once the courtyard in the middle school, which is now open. These were the doors that once opened into the auditorium that was out there. Kind of sad and exciting at the same time, for sure. A lot of history there, so I respect it.
Thank you again for the tour.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Recycling is still a very big thing. The Green Weed project. Important that we recycle at least 70% of all of our construction waste, new and demo. And we are at 90+% at this point. So really great work.
Which is why it's taking so long. It's not taking so long because we're doing it lackadaisically. It's taking so long because we're separate.
It is surgical. It's piles of steel here, piles of concrete here, put the wood over here, put the you know, the rebar here. So, and they're taking footings out. When I do demo, I don't like all the footings underground, and somebody down the road decides to do something on that site.
So you're pulling it.
And they start digging, and go, what in the world would somebody leave us? I don't want to be a...
Spoken as a man who's had to dig the space.
And we counter that. It's not a nice change order later.
I remember when we were getting under the ground, and you said, oh my goodness, there are these 4 or 5 tanks we didn't know were there.
Right, yeah.
No,
It's always
that's
nice.
important.
Yeah. Full of oil and meth. Our middle school, all the phases are complete. We are wrapping up site work, field accessory, seating, miscellaneous striping. Most of that will be wrapped up by the end of September. There are some pieces that will extend out. We're waiting for some things. Punch list, the architect is working hard. Our architect's representative, Courtney, has officially left Schrader Group, but she is being retained to help us finish this project, and she is willing and wanting to be here to help us. She continues to come to meetings. She continues to do what she needs to do, even though she's gone off in a different place. So it's been a nice team effort.
I have asked, there's an association that I see notices of because of my project in the city for myself. And they're talking about awards for people. And I'm looking at the awards they're giving out. The awards, they're more recognition of their money. But they're giving them to organizations that haven't got the level of certification that we did. And so I asked Doug, I think you supported as well.
You and I have talked,
you know, that certainly the acknowledgement from the community is great, but I think there's a professional aspect here. These projects far exceed, those are Comcast and Brandy One. They've done projects that don't approach the efforts and the energy efficiencies and economies and ecological responsibility of this project. So I've asked, I won't be here for it, but I asked you both.
I intend to follow through. We were with the U.S. Green Building Council a while ago. A couple of years ago, we went to Washington, D.C. We're recognized for our efforts in the district. And I think it's important to continue to try to meet those standards and be recognized. And I think these 2 buildings, Rolling Hills will be another great example. That'll be the goal. And get out there and try to be.
And not to be silly, you know, we talk about protecting home values, protecting values of our investors. Our investors are citizens. Part of it is this builds home value. You know, when people want to build a house and they're buying a house and they're looking at a place that's acting responsibly. So how do we get that out there? How do we do our bit to make sure that that's out there? That falls up with what goes on in the building.
So this is one of the spaces that also had to wrap up over the summer. It was founding consumer science.
I'm going to make you stop one time here because I want to say that didn't get finished until the bleeding end.
Friday.
So Friday, before kids came on Tuesday. I want you to see, look at the room, and if you back up, you're decorating. So we need to make sure the staff is commended. Somebody came in on Labor Day weekend. Now you could say it's his or her job, Labor Day weekend.
Absolutely.
And got that done, because we didn't get that room done until late on the day of Friday. You and I were touring, it was just finished. So,
and as you know from your own experience, oftentimes they bring their family to help them too.
Yeah, we have pictures. My wife took our two children in the construction zone to put her roof in.
This is, one of the classrooms in that final phase. Looks like all the other classrooms, but now all the classrooms do look like traditional standard classrooms, but not pizza pies and poorly conditioned spaces. And windows, on almost every elevation, in nearly every classroom. Just another classroom, but really important. And one of Matt's favorites is the one that is in the final phase, and, I don't know that you totally realize how much goes into making these work. I mean, all the work that Matt's guys have to do, after, switches our hours and the final punch downs and making all this work and making sure that every one of these wires goes to a specific jack in every classroom. And when there's an issue, tracking down which wires or which jack, and a teacher says, hey, this isn't working, Matt's men are able to come in here and figure this stuff out. So,
And your team was there over Labor Day weekend as well, because I ran into them up there. Yeah.
the gym, and now the wall pads are in place, that is done, so the gym is complete.
All look great.
Cafeteria,
That's favorite steps.
the library. So they all finished, they were furnished, they're ready, and kids are enjoying the spaces. And those are all spaces with air conditioning.
I thought it was.
Those are the other LED lights. And this is a projector for the wall.
Both the Newtown Library and they're different, but they all have these different features that kind of make them unique little spaces. Not little, big spaces, but and that's a nice touch in this one. And the skylights, side lights.
Yeah, like monitors, So I wanted to touch on the age of the Howland Middle School.
Before you move on, can I ask you a question? So, rather than question for you, how are the kids receiving the new schools?
Oh, fantastic.
There you go.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Right.
you can just feel it in the building.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I spent both Tuesday and Wednesday morning at Holland Middle School, because there were people saying we wouldn't open in time. So I stayed, I put on a tie, and if you were a car rider, I greeted you at the door both days. The kids everybody came in with a smile, they're excited to be there. Seventh graders recognized me on the second day because they got the first, so, I was there both days. Teachers seemed happy, and it was, the transformation of that school the last 3 weeks has been nothing shy of incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was at Holland today for all my lunches, and so I got to see every single kid, come in there, and just great vibe, great vibe.
I don't care the eighth graders, because they're the ones who are the best. Seventh graders is always going to be amazing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Eighth graders are going to.
Yeah, well, don't ask my son. It's good. Typical eighth grade.
What'd you learn today? Nothing.
Yeah, typical eighth grade is fun.
It's fun to see because they're also nervous. It's big. They're coming from an elementary school to this, at least the seventh graders.
Yeah.
And so I see kids coming into the office saying, I just can't find classrooms. Can you help me? And I'm like, absolutely. And they walk them to the room. They re-understand the building.
Yeah.
The staff is.
Okay, is the staff doing that too?
Yeah, everyone was doing
The staff doing the thing? I can't find.
No, not the staff. But the staff is fantastic.
The staff was, it really was.
It's neat to see.
I stayed outside and all the questions I got was, see that nice lady or that nice man? And they'll help.
And one of the nice things that they do is at lunch, this entire week, they've had their guidance counselors and their peers coordinator on those steps.
Yep.
And say, hey, if you have any questions about your schedule, where this is, where that is, go see those folks after you're done eating. And they were doing it.
Good. Well, it really sets it up for how it's going to be. I mean, that's really, that was the thing when Mike Collins, when we opened Collins, when we opened shop, those things you do the first year become the norm. And that's, so a lot of thought, so apparently, it's evidencing a lot of thought doing it. Because that doesn't become the norm, it does become the playbook year by year.
Do we have dates for?
Yeah, 23rd and 24th, or 24th
and 25th.
24th and 25th.
Newtown is Monday the 24th, Monday the 25th.
It came out in some of Susan's email blast.
And what time?
7 p.m. each
Great.
night. Yeah, it was in my last board updates.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's been publicly released.
It has. It has. And it will be again tomorrow.
So, go ahead, Doug. I requested this, just.
So this was added, but, there's been there's been some chatter about warm spaces at Holland Middle School and agreed, it should happen. It's a brand new building. We've had problems with 7 of the 17 units. And the challenge has been, after a lot of work, contractors generated, but I'll review with you just so you generally understand. The chillers that we relocated from the front of the building to the back of the building, existing York chillers in great shape. No problem with the chillers. They provide cold air to the rooftop unit, and at that rooftop unit, they should be coming in around 46 to 50 degrees. It is then mixed with return air from the classroom that goes up through a ceiling cloud, back up to the unit, and return air duct, and it mixes and is blown in, and we're looking to achieve that 72-degree temperature coming back into the classrooms. We were getting those 46 to 50-degree water up in the unit, but we were getting into the classroom 77, mostly 77. Today we saw some 81, 82 degrees.
Your unit shut down.
And we had shut those units down because we were just looking to make some repairs and figure this out. So the challenge, and so you're scratching your head, well, how do I have that cold temperature here? Because, you know, if I'm blowing into the room, I'm getting 71 degree air, 71 degrees air, or 77 degree air. So we learned yesterday morning of slightly elevated temperatures, 7 of the 17 air handling units. The timing is interesting because a week ago, we didn't have any glycol in the system, which is a refrigerant. You keep it from antifreeze, basically. Keep the water from freezing at a coil in the winter if there's a cold air coming through a unit or something. At any rate, it was like an ice box in every space in that building until that glycol. And it wasn't until this week that we felt changes in temperatures in the room. What is happening? We're trying to figure this out. So we did immediately have, you know, diagnostics performed. We had Johnson Controls there. We had all state mechanical contractors to go from the bonding company. And we looked in the unit, we bled the unit to make sure there was no air in the coils, which would be a reason cold air is coming in, but it's getting caught up in the coils and losing its temperature. Twice they bled the unit. They found fuses that serve the heat wheel in those units that were blown in these 7 units. The heat wheel was calling for more power than the fuses were providing. Johnson Controls York upsized the fuses. They reviewed the fuses, made sure that it wasn't compromising any equipment. That's no longer an issue. Would have been a separate issue regardless, so that's fixed. The strainer valves were clean, so the HVAC contractor, where the water comes into the unit, there's a screen that collects any debris that doesn't get caught up in the coils of the unit. So they're all clean. So we thought it was the failed fuses. This morning we brought 25 out, put those in, and it didn't change, you know, any of the temperature. So then we were scrambling to figure things out. Rich Hollihan, who's been unbelievable, worked quickly and developed a plan to find other cool places in the building to put the kids. They weren't sitting in one space.
It was only about 10 classrooms.
About 10,
significantly.
10 classrooms, so he developed a schedule for those 10 classrooms and moved people around in the classrooms. Might have been 2 classes for the groups to move around a little bit. And he's prepared to do that again tomorrow if we need to do that. And it was making sure. It was a science program. They went from a science program in one area to a science program in another area. So they didn't go from science to a general studies. They kept the program equal. So they didn't change their program. So what actions did we take? We changed the fuses, which we learned wasn't the issue. We confirmed the actual room temperatures in the building management system on the computers, and with a heat gun to see if we were actually getting the same reading as the thermostat that the electronic program was telling us. That checked out. That was all good. We confirmed that the 45-degree chilled water was present in the unit. We confirmed that the control valves were in the active position they needed to be. We confirmed the percentage of glycol was at 30%. And we closed the outside air dampers to make sure that we weren't bringing in any of this hot, humid air today, mixing in with the return air, making it even more uncomfortable than it would have. So the options were being exhausted. Johnson Controls said, I know the HVAC contractor told me that these strainer valves are clean, but I gotta look for myself because honestly, this guy is the best. He's the best in the business. I've known him for many years. He went in to rip the insulation off of one of his valves, opened it up, and what we found was a very dirty strainer valve, which was clearly compromising water flow through the unit. Once he found that, we engaged the contractor and said, hey, you know, I don't know when you cleaned them, but you didn't clean them recently, you need to do it. He immediately came and through dark was addressing the 7 units.
Right. We'll go back
They will
tomorrow.
surely address the other 10 to make sure.
Yeah.
And tomorrow I have a call with the bonding company to further discuss likely, you know, the potential draining the system on the day we're not here and making sure everything is clean and glycol and strainer cleaning again to get it clean. But for now, I just want to get us up and running.
A little more with it, like you can.
I've got one too. So,
I can show you where you walk.
So on the unit that we did clean it, put it back in within an hour, we were nearly at set temperature. And the discharge temperature in the room won't catch up right away because we're pulling hot air from the plant to build up. It has to.
yeah, it will catch up. Yeah.
So tomorrow, as I said, we have a follow-up phone call with the bonding company. There's testing, adjusting, and balancing that happens in every room where they put a meter up against the ceiling diffuser and they read what the CFMs are coming out of that because it's a designed CFM for every diffuser in the building. That's happening in the areas that are already done. It has to happen in the last piece that just finished. So on Monday, Tuesday, they'll do the final air balancing. On Monday, Tuesday, now that the entire hydronic water piping is finished, they will do balancing of the water system to make sure we're getting proper flow to all the units. So that'll also happen Monday, Tuesday. Johnson Controls will be there to assist the balancing company. Now, it's important to note that we hired a testing, adjusting, balancing contractor separately from the contractors. They work directly for us. They will point out anything that they find problematic because they get paid by us, not the contractor. There's a lot of contracts where that CAB is called in the contractor scope, and it's kind of the fox watching the hen. Because it's not going to give the owner a bad report when he's getting paid by his contractor. At least not all the bad. Right. You might hear a little. There's probably a lot. You're hearing a little. So they work directly for us. So just a couple of pictures. This is a unit up on the roof today. It was up in the unit with the contractors. You can see we actually have the 44-degree chilled water up at the unit. So we did confirm. We checked the valves, the actuators that have control the flow of the units, and all of those things were fine. We then took out one of the strainers, and this should be basically look like a piece of window screen, like a piece of punch steel, holds in, it's clean, that catches debris as it goes through. As you can see, it should all look like this. There's much sludge and dirt caught up. Now, we worked at the furthest unit and then worked our way backwards so that we weren't releasing it downstream as we did. So we worked backwards to make sure that we weren't re-clogging as we move. But this was an air handler 13. After an hour, before cleaning, we were getting 81 degrees in the opposite side of 46 degrees. After cleaning, we were 56 degree air temperature after an hour, and the set point 55. So
Once the metal heat or cools down, you'll have it.
and Johnson Controls printed out AHU 13 discharge air temperature 56.1 from their building management system that they can see all the points from. So we think that we're going to be okay. Temps should slowly come back tomorrow, and if they're not fast enough to return, Rich has the same plan in place, but we should surely be fine when kids come back next Wednesday. Between the balancing and everything else. So that's what happened, that's what the issue was. Well,
I asked this be added because it was posted on social media that we had rooms that were 104 degrees. We also have a building management system which records these and says, no, we don't. And for Robert's sake, if we have a 104-degree room and the staff's not reporting it somewhere, I want them fired. So, I mean, because that's unhealthy.
You couldn't,
So,
you couldn't be,
It couldn't get 100,000.
I mean, you park a car in a parking lot and close the windows when you come in, it's gonna be 105. That's 105. You couldn't even sit there.
Out of the 17 units, are any of them new or?
They're all-
Okay, so they're all new, but that handler part, or wherever where the screen was, is older.
No,
That was
That's all new.
how did that get gunked up like that on the new
that's,
unit?
there's light
I
bulb
missed
they
that.
put in,
That's
picked
what I
up some of
I
the,
walked out.
picked up some of the dirt. And, so we're gonna get to the bottom.
Well, the water supply is helpful, and the glycol. So you realize it's fresh pipe in part, which is being, has been moved around. A little bit of dust or, over many pipes.
It's not common because you
Yeah.
throw a pile of pipe on the ground, you pick them up, you put them together, the dirt's still in the pipe, and you put them together.
That's why the screens
You
are
can only
there.
watch so much of these guys, you don't watch every single connection as they go, you can't. You have to have an army of 25 guys watching construction, so.
So,
I think that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I wanted to allay fears. According to the management system, we hit 77 degrees.
There was a
78.
storage room that was 78, but we have a complete printout of the units that.
So, there were no 104-degree rooms.
I'm fine with that, but I'm wondering how common it is for the screens to get like that, because that's.
Well, if you don't clean before you put the glycol in, if it happens. So again, understand, this is the contractor that went out of business, that we picked up another contractor for.
That was already in after that guy went.
So this piping was in place, this was all in before it came.
Okay.
This is not something you would anticipate having recur from year 5. It's gonna,
Not-
I mean, you have to check occasionally because the pipes do deteriorate a little bit and things do accumulate.
Yeah.
But
we wouldn't expect-
you're recirculating the same
It's a
water.
closed
You have to-
system.
If you see one unit, starting to warm up, say, hey, we better go through this diagnosis, it might be the filter, but it wouldn't be
7.
so it's something that should not happen, and we're addressing it.
I think one of the important things to look at, and people, if people are listening to this, with that many air handlers in the building, the other thing is, they're balanced, they're individual draws. So they're, if one side of the building's in sun and the other one's not, each room is individually adjusted.
Mhm.
There's
a sensor in every room.
It's not like the old days when we had the big boiler and every room had a radiator and every room was what it was.
Whatever it is.
Exactly, if you had sun, great, if you had shade, too bad.
Well, eventually, the boilers will be running. You can't dehumidify right now with the situation we have.
Right.
Once this situation is rectified, which it is and will be,
You expect to have
and
the
the
boilers
heat
running?
wheels are
next-
running, now
next
we could actually, run a boiler, and you could introduce the hot air to wring out the humidity, so that you're not blowing cold air into a space that creates a rain fart, makes it more humid then.
Mhm.
So you have to temper the air.
You anticipate that for next week?
Potentially, but I don't think that next week's not looking like the same kind of
That may not be required.
Not nearly.
But we will have the ability to do so. Boilers are ready to go.
Right,
And we-
right. I saw the boilers yesterday when I was looking at the.
They're
building
inspected,
automation.
everything is good.
Doug, quickly but importantly, I want to thank you for your work over the past few days. I know that this has been weighing on you, because you care about those kids and you care about that staff and you care about that building. And Doug was pretty modest and briefly, real quickly, sliding it in there and then moving on, but Doug was actually up on the building, or up on the roof today in these record temperatures and humidity
He called me
himself.
from the roof.
So, yeah, there's a lot of work that goes on that people don't realize, and that's an example of it right there.
Extra effort.
So you said the contractor said he cleaned out the traps, but it was, and that was the new contractor who took over from the old contractor?
Yeah, there's a pride thing, I don't want to hang anyone out to dry or anybody like that. There's a pride thing. The bonding company hired a superintendent that worked for the company that was here before, because he had continuity with the process. So bringing him on and him knowing the entire process is beneficial in many, many ways. But then there's also when something isn't quite right, the surprise, we didn't do that wrong, or that wasn't our doing, and I'm like, it doesn't, at this point, it just doesn't matter. This is Hartford's issue, it's a bonding company issue. So don't worry about it. You don't work for NVR, I don't care what happened, I only care about making things right. So,
on the scale of.
It certainly does some stuff, but it certainly hurts the trust issue. I mean, that definitely compromised my trust in the company. So,
The exposure we had in terms of timeline and accomplishments with that interruption, potential interruption by that vendor going down. Right? That this is the only thing that came out of it is really remarkable. Both from the Hartford 7-Up, from every aspect of it, it's remarkable.
and I will say this, and this is just true. The front end that Dewey helps put in the specification has teeth. Most specifications that the architect issues that have language in the front about bonding companies is just general, it has to be an A+ bonding, blah, blah, blah. But this has additional language that requires them to take over the project. They have several options, but none of them allow them to just say, well, we're going to bid the job, and when somebody comes on board, you know, if there's a timeline that they have to meet, they have X number of days, or we have rights to do things and supplement. So, and you know, Arif and I calling companies together and managing things. Each Burn and Gray helped. So it was, to have the teeth is really helpful.
My last comment on this, sorry to keep you longer than one, which was, as we look at other projects going forward, I think we may pay more for duty for something, but that's my professional service and not a bid service, because it works, you know, because we want to pay more to have those things, and it costs more to have the bond done this way than that, but ultimately it protects the district, protects the citizen, protects the citizen.
And they were there last night, they were there early in the morning today. I mean, they take it seriously.
I'd be the first to tell you, if things change, I would say you shouldn't have people here. I mean, I've done it before.
Right.
When it happens, I'm honest.
Right.
And right now, they're very good with staging and putting staging drawings together and helping me with drawing reviews, and we work together to do a lot of good things. And it's planning the work and working the plan. So, you know, down the road, we can certainly talk about it. You know, Rolling Hills is here. After that, I don't know how far away we are working with Bob and Robert on a long-term facility improvement plan for the remaining buildings and PFN, and we'll have to see how all those timelines shake out in reality, and we can do the next stuff. But, you know, we'll see. But Wrightstown Elementary School, it's going well. The next milestone that you really care about there is that on July 1st, the building is ready for me to get the kids from, you know, the belongings from Wrightstown, Richborough Middle, and bring them back. And then I'm going to take Rolling Hills and move them over there and occupy the building. So that's the plan, and we're on track for that as of today. These are even a little old, but all the building interior walls that will be demolished have been. This was a series of several classrooms. You can see walls that have been removed, test walls that we could reuse. This used to be the library back in here. If you know Wrightstown, you enter the library over here. The library, that's all gone. Again, just a lot of open space, a lot of demolition. All the environmental abatement has been addressed, so any pipe fittings that were above ceilings or behind masonry walls have been removed, and air clearance is provided to clean space for contractors. The site stormwater management system is going in, so all of that has to happen with department.
Remarkably similar to the two middle schools.
Conservation, yeah, very familiar. Yeah. This is under a parking area as well.
As are most of those, yeah.
A lot of footings, we got stone building pad footings, we have piers with the base plates ready for steel, which is really important. You can see all this happening. I really wouldn't care if I didn't see the piers for steel, so when steel comes, it can go to town. You know, you can lay a block all you want, but that's not holding the building up. So we need to get the steel in and a roof on before the onset of winter. That's key on this project.
The only way you can continue to work.
And like any other project, there's always challenges that we don't plan for. So when we took the ceilings out in the second wing of that building, there was a hard ceiling in place. You could never see the roof deck. We are seeing a surface rust on the roof And some of the ribs, like the ribs, you can see that there's actual holes. Now, does that mean that the integrity of the deck is shot? I don't think so. The structural engineer doesn't want us to take another look at what's happening above just to make sure. I think this is from very old roof leaks before we replaced the roof. We walked on the roof. There's been no sign of any deflection of the deck or anything like that. But engineers are always uber conservative. I get it. That's their job. So we're going to take a strip of roofing off, even though it's 5 years old. We're going to take a peek and see what the condition of the deck is.
You're gonna pick one of these sections.
We're going to do the section that looks challenging, and we may even do more because Garland Roofing Group does a lot of work for us, has told us that they will provide the roofing materials at no cost to us to do this work. So they said, no cost, we'll bring the contractor out, we'll take the roof off. If you need metal deck repairs, you pay for the metal deck repairs, put new roof back, we'll do it. So they've been very good at working with us in that regard. So that's something we're going to do in the next couple of weeks. It's not pressing, not hurting anything, but just something to be aware of. Wrightstown Elementary School this school year, pretty exciting. You can see the old Richburg Middle School behind us. The sign temporarily moved over here to make it feel welcome. We put in a hard play area, which was once just a parking lot. We have fencing so balls don't continue to roll down the site. And on the other side of the fencing is a guardrail, so the kids have a safe pathway along the back down to the soft play area. Down to the soft play area, the trail continues, and they're working on putting in this playground. The playground wasn't supposed to come in the middle of September. The day it arrived, the contractor was there to receive it and started installing it at the same time. So they're working to get this done. Should be done possibly when kids come back next Wednesday.
And our plan, I am imagining, I'm asking, but I'm, that's gonna be the right time. We're there for all this year.
Yeah.
So we're going with it.
Then we can either move it to another place or
Figure out what
figure out what we're doing with it. The playground at Rolling Hills, I would say we put it at Rolling Hills. Rolling Hills has equipment that was donated by the PTO that's in good shape that we're gonna shift around on that site. So there's no reason to take it and move it there. And the equipment at Wrightstown is not so bad as it's in the place that things at the end of it. So, yeah, we'll figure out what we're gonna do, but it will work for us. And there's certainly places it can go. It's not one of those, not a problem. And this is what it will look like when it's finished. So it's, you know, substantial play area for 2 years.
You're gonna fence it in, or?
No, it'll be open to the, like all our other playgrounds. So, you know, if your community.
Yeah, didn't know if we were or not.
Yep. So it's the shared feature. This is one of the hallways inside, and that creates a nice map that's color coded. I know it's journals, and it's like, but it's just really cool to me to see what our carpenter did for the kids. And we put a step up so that the
There's a
height.
deck.
The handlebars.
And there's a deck because we didn't want to spend the plumbing money
We went
to
from
drop.
middle school kids to little guys, so we gave, instead of spending the money to try to lower all of our plumbing, we just raised the floor to get kids closer to it, but
And that handrail was,
it's really not necessary to share these, just in case they don't, you know, we don't want them to top one.
Some of them are really little, so I haven't ever, you know.
But the color coded map, that came up with clearly sends kids to the color areas for their grade level, shows them where the common spaces are, works for, if they come out of the office, this is what they see, so they know which direction to go. Classroom feels like it's been there forever. They were able to make that happen. And keep in mind, we emptied Richboro. We delivered this. Aramark came in, cleaned the floor. We then distributed this to the spaces, and then the teachers set it up. So there was a lot of layers. And, you know, really, I mean, the library feels like it's always been right.
I
So,
will say, I toured it with Denise Brooks a couple weeks ago. Ms. Fox did tremendous work, her team did tremendous work. There were kids in the building when we toured it, so I got down on my knees to talk to them, and they're just so thrilled. And the biggest feature they got was lockers. Elementary schools don't get lockers.
That's right.
And they have lockers in this school.
the older level, grade level,
Yeah.
locked.
Yeah.
We put shelves with code hooks in
They were beautiful too, they were done well.
K through,
Yeah.
3, and
Yeah.
then 4 and 5
Or five.
have the lockers. We took the commons off, so they just opened the locker, put their stuff in. The Rolling Hills, is basically, on track. We're looking to bid this after the winter and, try to start sometime in the spring, not wait till summer to start. Some things to note, the Northampton Township, planning commission meeting was canceled for the 11th. They canceled it because of the holiday. So we are not going to see them until, October 9th. Yep. So we'll be in front of them on October 9th. We're hoping the planning commission at that point is friendly and gives us preliminary final. Let's go ahead and see the supervisors. The review letters have been promising. There's been talk about road widening and traffic study and aligning our road with the road across the development. But they were only suggestions. They weren't, strong recommendations. I think that they're not going to ask us to do those things, but we won't know until you really sit in front of people and talk. The other important thing to note is in October, on the 18th, we have the Act 34 hearing for this project, which the board just observes, you're not really participating. Jerry would help have some opening comments before the president, but otherwise. So we're hoping to get through these approvals by December, January at the latest, obviously. And we have to deal with the NDCMA, Northampton Bucks County Municipal Authority, for planning module toilets. But we did realize that we actually have more EDUs now than we will need in the final configuration. So there should be no money, because EDUs are all worth, $1 amount. The question is, we need to go through a planning module exemption, planning module approval with the county. We're not needing.
You have that for more.
So that's what we have to work out with them. So part B is project accounting based on estimates. The first part, though, is getting the Act 34 resolution. At the board meeting on the 20th this month, I will ask just for the approval to advertise for Act 34. The next day after the board meeting will be posted, and then we have the hearing in October. And then we have to wait till November 17th to approve Part D, because there's a 30-day waiting period for communities to write anything to the district that they wish relative to concern for the project, which is always something the community has the right to do on this project. So these are the key dates. The 20th of September, we advertised, so the board approved the advertisement. We advertised the 21st. We have the hearing on the 18th of October. On 17th of November, the 30-day public comment period ends. And then at the December meeting, I would bring that for approval. Now, we can't submit the PDE because we're just not accepting it. They gave us a letter, but we want to process all this and put it in the drawer and go through the formal process. In the rare event something comes back, we can say that we approved all these pieces. Is there anything we can do? At least we'll be in a position to try to ask for some money. I don't know that it'll happen, but I'd rather not ignore it either. So. And these are just the plans that we've seen before, the site plan and the rendering. It shows the pretty much concealed solar panels at the back side of the building.
Were the steps in that last split of the overview map, I'll go back to the,
Yeah, so
the
there's
steps in there before, as I saw that.
yeah, they're just showing the, again, that's the configuration that you may want to make. You can put traditional layouts, and we're using the desks that you can kind of group or leave individual. Works out nice.
Yeah.
Capital improvement projects, Chancellor Center is about 90%. The window replacement is the biggest thing, and finishing the masonry on the front elevation. North cooling tower, I'm waiting for the delivery of the louvered wall systems. We're thinking 26th of September.
How long would it take you to put those up?
It's probably a week and a half. It's not, we have construction fencing, chain link fence around it, so it's protected. It's not really hurting anything. It's
It
not,
looks bad.
it doesn't look like I'd like it to look. New hood for the sanitary and the installed, the transformer site improvements are complete. The fitness center renovation We're waiting for scoreboards at the end of September. Again, the baseball, softball are not affecting any programs. Finishing up the softball field. And the directional signage at the end of October, something the site has never had really need. We had to work out all of the language, the arrows, the station, work with Scott Layer and Alphonse to make sure they got everything right, added some things, and that'll all be here sometime the end of October. The gym floors at the 2 elementary schools are complete. The data wiring that we needed at Wrightstown is complete. Site improvements to the playground should be done next week. 12-5 roof replacement is complete. And the north classroom renovations from the flood damage are 90% complete. The only thing we're waiting for there is the vertical unit ventilator, which was the cause of the problem. The cooling side is fine. They can have temporarily cooling the space. The heating side isn't. They say that they'll have that unit up and running by the beginning of October. If they don't, they know they need to bring a temporary heating unit in for that classroom, should they not have the Airedale unit. So that's something we're working on. As far as all the construction costs go, it's just an update on the material allowances. We had a starting allowance for Chancellor of $64,000. We're at $55,000. We do have some other things we're still looking at to wrap this up, but cooling tower enclosure, we did have some additional concrete repairs and concrete replacement and trench grading that we had to address. So we really used the allowance on that project to address some of those issues. The fume hood had a permit, so we're still at 5,900. North Transformer site improvements, the entire allowance still exists. North and South Fitness Centers, we have about $10,600 left. Court repairs, we still have about $4,000 left. Remember, we did some of the sports court things and making changes there. So South athletic fencing, we're still at no change there, 22,000 remaining. We actually had the gym floor replacement, allowed them to use a different synthetic floor manufacturer, one that was acceptable as a substitution. It gave us an $11,000 credit, so we went from an allowance of $14,600 to $25,600. So we have those monies remaining. Data wiring, $5,600 remaining. Site improvements for the play area, $6,100. We had to remove an old rusty backstop that's in the vicinity of the new playgrounds that was in poor condition. So we took that out, the footings out, restored the site. That's what that adjustment was. $25,000 remains for the roof replacement. And for the north limited repairs, we have an allowance of $11,900 remaining. So all in all, the contract adjustments are all finalized once we wrap these contracts up, but we're looking at being around $200,000 under the approved budget for those projects, the construction costs for those projects right now. This is good news. This is the moving allowances that we had, and on those were about $30,000 under the approved budgets for the moving that took place this summer. Just a couple shots. This is the elevation they're wrapping up. This piece here, there's a flat roof behind it that they're working on getting detailed and flashed in. I mean, today we put flashings in that are much different than they put in 1800. So we're trying to blend new technologies with old, and they're fabricating copper tap flashings and things that are the ones with the tap. Palmer Masonry is second to none. They're really the best. So they're working to get that done. These are some of the pieces they brought to the ground. They have each one piece marked so they know exactly where each one of these old pieces of cast stone pieces goes back. This is the sport court that we're trying out at North. This is the that material that I brought to you, a little bridge material that has a slip resistance is equivalent to asphalt. The fall protection, the actual impact on this GMAX rating is better than asphalt. So if you fall from a lower level, you're less likely to get as hurt on this as you would with asphalt. Either way, it's going to hurt.
Yeah. Those courts get a lot of use, I've noticed, and I was talking to Rob Finley last Friday night, and he was very complimentary of your work on this. Rob specifically mentioned the logo.
Yeah,
it looks nice.
Yeah, they did a nice job. So this is something we're trying here. If again, it's a 25-year warranty. If this is something that over time looks like it's a viable product, and we could consider using it at South on a larger basketball court. Tennis courts, it can be used, but it changes the game. It's fast, it's awful. There are people that use it, but I don't think we want to use it. It would be bad. This is, again, at Wrightstown, the timber rail fence protects an area where there's fueling stations. People come into the back from going into the play area, and a safe area for kids to get around the site to the soft play area. And at South, we never had real protection along this road. It always made me nervous. This is the fence. Players' bench is just forward of this, and cars are traveling up and down this road all the time. So they're sitting there at the bench at the back of the road. Anybody veers off the road, it's just a concern. So we put a timber rail fence in here to protect kids would be along that field. And we, for Title IX, matched the field at north to south and north. So we put covered dugouts in for the girls' softball field, which we have at north as well. So they're equal at the two schools, and they're just wrapping up getting the softball field organized here. So I think it fixes of everything, but that's the majority of it. A couple miscellaneous items, and I'll wrap this up. The Newtown PTO wants to provide a cafeteria sound system with the nation of the district, something that we've done on other schools in the past. It's a full range audio system. There's two speakers at the proscenium wall. They'll commission the sound system. There's an amplifier to power the speakers, a digital mixer, wireless microphones, training to our staff. We're going to provide 220 amp outlets at a location that they need to power their equipment, and it's worth around $14,000. It'll be on the agenda for this month.
The company that's doing it, the FCC recently changed the rulings on wireless microphones.
Oh, yeah.
There's frequencies that they're not allowed to be in anymore. Just double check before they do the
I will. You know Zio Brothers? You heard of Zio Brothers? They've done good work for us, but we'll make sure we'll confirm.
I just read that the other day. So
Okay.
I'm sure that.
Yes. Well, it's funny you talk about frequency. We were sitting in the auditorium, or cafeteria at Holland yesterday for a meeting, and we're sitting in there. All of a sudden, we're hearing about gym shoes and what to wear. The frequency of the speakers in the cafeteria was the same as the frequency in the gym. So he's in the gym talking to the kids about gym speakers, and we're sitting in the cafeteria hearing them talk about gym speakers. Speakers above them. They have to adjust the channels there. It's fun. Consent agenda items, there's one bid, it's for air filter supply bid. Again, there's air filters for HVAC systems for each school facility. We change the filters 3 times a year. The filters range in size. When you find this interesting, you think about home. There's 7 inches by 13 inches, and some are as big as 10 inches by 66 inches. And the thickness, you're used to, maybe the 1-inch filter at home. Some of these are 12 inches thick, and they're MERV. They're a MERV, minimum efficiency reporting value, and there are ranges. You can look 7 to 13 for a school for better values. Once you get to 14 to 20, you're talking about hospitals and surgical spaces. So they're expensive, but they're what you need to use in our.
Oh, they have to change it.
3 times a year. Yes. I think, and I can't remember the amount, I should have put the value on there, and I did. I want to say around $50,000 for 3 years. It's like $20,000 this year.
Is this through the state?
No, we publicly bid this. This is the resolution to advertise Act 34, which I talked about. And the last thing will be on the agenda is the donation. Those are the 3 items that I'll have on the agenda this month. Upcoming, a dedicated October meeting to the 5-year plan and the capital improvement book update, which I'm working on. At the same time, I'm worried about these others. And a public service announcement, we have our American Recycle Day set up on November 10th at South from 9 to 1. And Susan will advertise this as well. But it's just the first blast of this event. And E-Waste Experts has been great. We brought them in here right after I came on board. and they've been a partner with us. They charge us nothing, they help us tremendously, and the only people they really, have to charge is for the CRTs, because they now have to pay to get rid of those. So anything else, they take, but any televisions and monitors, they have to charge $30 per monitor to recycle. That's it.
Pictures. Pictures are very good. Informative.
Any other board comments?
Kristen still there?
Kristen, you have any comments?
That's the one that I've been trying to listen and be looking at the documents afterwards, just because I think it will make more sense. So I don't have any.
Okay,
Good.
thank you.
Thanks for
Well, all right, with that, then, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.